Hello everybody, myself Navyansh and she is,
Hi, myself Dewanshi.
and welcome to the first episode of a podcast series presented by Microsoft Innovation Club. I have a couple of questions for Devanshi and a disclaimer. I don't have much knowledge about web development because even I am learning and I'm just starting out, and Devanshi has a decent amount of experience in web development. She'll be guiding us and she'll be helping like people like me and many other people who are in the same stage of learning the process of web development. So let's start with our first question. Does web development require a computer science degree?
I feel it's not necessary. It's like even if you are in higher secondary, you can start this journey. And web dev as a whole, it's actually a very big domain. You have to learn about front end designing and also the back end, how you can actually, and also there is a database management thing. Anyone who is curious about how this website stuff goes on a click and you get so much details and all, they can go on and learn with it.
I also like when I started off web development. So I started with front end web development, and the thing is that I really found it to be very interesting. And the fact that I am able to choose my own colors and choose my own design and choose my own font style. So all such things were really interesting to me. And I do feel like those who have a very creative aspect and their creative thinking is really strong, and they are very good in illustrations or drawing or choosing a perfect color palette. So I do feel they should try their web development journey and try it with and start it off with front end web development. And trust me, like initially you just need a starting push, and that creative element and all such things will definitely help. So I guess I also do agree that I don't think so a computer science degree or any such degree is required for web development.
Yeah, actually. And if you are actually a one who is more into logical part, you can start with the backend stuff. That the easy part in the more easier step you can take in the web dev.
Does web development require like DSA or any hardcore problem solving skills? Like, do you need to be good in like competitive programming, or you need to have a very strong logical thinking? So, what's your take on that?
So if I come to my experience, I actually came to know about this CS field and all the stuffs when I got this subject allotted in my high schools. So that time I just knew basic C++ stuff, how to add and all. And after coming to college and all, my interest came into the web development and I started. So what I feel is that since I knew how to interact with the computers and all with these languages, I actually had in this confidence like I can do this website designing and all. So having DSA and hardcore problem solving skills is not actually necessary, but you should know some or having prior knowledge of how to like interact with the computers with certain languages is actually a fruitful thing to like kickstart with any domain you want to start in this computer science.
There is an advantage of having like a good problem solving mindset, or to be like familiar with doing coding problems. Because the thing is, suppose like I'm working on a project, on a web development project, and I'm stuck on like I have I have written the code, but that thing isn't being showed in the final version, or if something is going wrong, or like the text is not aligning or something. Most of the time, like people get frustrated and they just stop working on the project entirely. So having strong like problem solving skills is that you have a mindset, like you tend to develop a mindset that okay, I want to face problems. So you won't end up closing the computer and you won't abandon the project. Instead, like, you will keep on trying. So basically your tolerance level increases, like your ability to handle the problems and to handle the like obstacles which you face like increases. So but like it is an added advantage, but definitely I don't think so.
Sure. Yeah. What's it basically like? You finally meet a stranger. First of all, you will actually get hesitation to whether I should talk or not, and you will actually move backward. It's just same like that. You feel the coding helps you to be familiar with the computer systems and all, and actually it makes you a friend like behavior with the computer. And you can do anything.
What's your opinion on this low code or like no code methods of making a website? Like for example, there are many services like Wix.com, like they help you to create like ready-made websites. Like they have a bunch of templates and we can just go and put in our own logos and fonts and all such things, and have a website running in like just a couple of minutes. So what's your take on that? And will it affect those people who like are generally interested in having a future in like web development roles? And what's your take on that?
This kind of websites are basically for people who actually want to start their own the startups and all, and they want to have their website so that all over the world can recognize their business. So for them, it's actually a very beneficial thing. But as a developer who wants, if a person wants to build a career in a web dev, I guess for kickstarting all, it will actually help them to know, okay, yeah, it's fascinating to do those stuffs and all. But when you actually become a developer, your client will have a very minute like demands and all, which this templates would not be able to complete it. So you should know about the languages and all, and how to build those stuffs. So these stuffs will not help you to actually to get job in any web client firms and all.
Many times, like, clients do require a specific thing or a specific feature to be implemented, and who knows, that feature or that thing is not available on a template. Basically, it's better to learn web development and to do it on your own, because by learning web development, like learning proper web development, you're catering to the needs of, like, even to the minute details and to the minute requirements of a client. You're serving those, like websites like wix.com and answers things, like they might not do it.
Yeah, it's also even fascinating that all those stuffs are actually made by a developer only. So why won't we go that side? And
Do you
not
think with the current rate of AI getting smarter and popular, and also with the offset of like chat boxes like ChatGPT, like again, like will it affect the future of people who are like seeking a role in web development? And basically, what's your take on like is AI taking over the roles of web development or not? So
yeah, chat GPT stuff is basically in my nearest, like a few days back, when my client said this to integrate those stuff. So it's becoming a hype, but there have been seen results, like for example, a code is or something work is done in a particular language, say Python, and you want to convert it into a JavaScript in that syntax. So if you don't know the language by yourself, and if you ask the chat GPT first to do it, there'll actually be very much errors and all. And if if the person who is actually very much well known in that particular language, they can find out the errors and the bugs. So chat GPT and all this AI bots and all can help you to get the starting phase or what can be done to get the solution, but they are not like still there to actually help you completely, and these jobs are not now been done as a AI. Actually, there are many students and all are asking these questions now. They're like, this chat GPT is there, this can do this stuff and all, why we are learning the web dev and all. I guess there is a lot more scope in web dev, even though AI is far behind than the human brain.
and like even I do agree with you. And like the thing with chat GPT and all such like AI progressing so fast is like it's just an added advantage to a web developer. Like it won't pose a threat to a web developer because it can just increase your speed of doing your work. Like I can get code snippets for like certain things. I can suppose if my code is not running properly and if there is some error, so I can just paste it in the chat GPT box and get answers, and like I can find the like it will tell me where the code has gone wrong and logically where it has gone wrong. So I feel it's just an added advantage to a web developer, and I don't think it is going to pose any threat to a web developer. Should anybody spend money on courses to learn web development? And if yes, then what's the maximum amount like one should spend on courses?
So even I started my journey with web dev with the free course material only. I guess everyone loves free. So, and coming to the YouTube, there are a lot of channels which you can browse, and they give actually very good knowledge about all the stacks which is required for web dev and all, how to work in a production level stuff. So if I like, the most of the channels which I go through are like Code with Harry, then Clever Programmer, JavaScript Mastery. They actually help you, and you can see the subscribers. I guess these paid courses are not required, but if anyone is willing to take the paid courses, because there are many students who want to go through this paid courses, because there's a feeling that okay, I have paid this course, I should continue it. But I guess many students will lack those or procrastinated that if it's a free, after few many days, like okay, it's free, I can do it later, and it's not there. So if anyone wants to do that, I guess there are some sale courses which we get in the every year, and also in Coursera, I guess you can take that financial aid one, and you can get a good quality of courses in very few amount.
So basically, you're telling like the person who's learning from these courses, like he becomes more accountable.
Yeah.
So his time, he's more responsible because he has spent money for it.
It's like it depends on the human nature. Like for me, like okay, free course is there, I can continue, I'll continue it. But there are many people who actually procrastinate. So this can be helpful for those persons.
Does these coding bootcamps help in like learning web development? Like many people claim that you can learn web development in like 7 days or like 20 days or like in 1 month, like all these crash courses and all such things. So do you really think that somebody can learn decent amount of web development using these bootcamps and crash courses? Like what's your take on that?
In boot camps, it's basically, it's like if it's a 7 day or 10 day somewhat exam, X days number of boot camps. The first few days they will give you the proper knowledge of a web dev and all. Later it will be the projects and all. So by going through and understanding the projects, how it's going and all, and you actually try to implement it, then it is a beneficial one for anyone to follow that. And it will help you to know the overall view, like how to make a project with such different tech stacks and all. So these bootcamps are helpful, but as we know that practice makes a man perfect. So one should actually practice it, have their own creative minds, and have their own logic of what kind of websites they want to make. So they need to do practice, but bootcamps will actually give you that push to work on. That's it.
Like it's just a mental game. Like,
Yeah.
like you mentally feel strong that okay, I'm doing something and I'm doing something useful with my time. But do you really think somebody learns complete or like decent amount of web development in like 7 days or something? Like no, right?
Not the complete stuff. You need to actually go again and back forth and revise the course, like how, like for the first time you have seen like, okay, we have these callbacks and all, we click on the button and we get stuff. But if for the first time you have gone and you just knew, listen to it and you implemented in the project and you put in the resume, okay, I have made this. But once if you put that, a recruiter asks like, okay, why did you do this, you will not be able to answer it. So it's not like you will understand on a decent amount of web development. You will just know how the overview it actually works.
So like it helps you giving you it gives you a sense of direction,
Yeah.
a starting point.
Basically.
All right. What's your suggestion on Web3, blockchains, and smart contracts? Like nowadays, these buzzwords like confuse the newbies and like where to start their journey. So, what's your take on like such fancy terms and such fancy tech?
Yeah. Basically, you see, whenever there is a fancy word and all, students actually rush on that part and leave all the other stuffs and learn about it. But one should understand that in every new domain which is actually coming, it's actually has a prerequisite which is going on till now. Just like this Web3 and blockchains and all, it's an extension of this Web2. The web version of 2 is basically taking your data and storing and all. We want it to be decentralized. But so in order to know that, if someone has a interest in blockchain or the smart contracts, first of all, the prerequisite, they should know all the stacks, basically the MERN stack and all, which is actually used to make this interface and the applications. Or else you will, if you know this blockchain and you just created a smart contract and kept in any blockchain network, if there is no user interface to interact, what's the use of it? And also now the blockchain developer as the hype which is going on, it is basically you build an application of the blockchain on top of something blockchain network, not the one developer who is actually making those networks. So for this blockchain application developer, you should know this web dev journey and how this stuff works. So it is actually necessary to go through web dev, and then only you can move with this blockchain and smart contract, because in blockchain mostly the extension you should know is about the smart contracts, basically how you interact with the other nodes which is present in this blockchain networks and this contracts and all. So web development is basically necessary to start with blockchain.
So basically, you're telling that it's a transition period from like Web2 to Web3, and so should people be worried about Web3, like the people, like the new ones who are learning web development? So they should start with Web2, right? Like learning the basics of like web development, like Web2 and all those things, and then think about Web3. So you mean like
Yeah, it's like that. You see, like even in our 12th or something, we have a lot of models which act like in chemistry. Like there are a lot of atomic models, and then we came to know about the current one. So you should know the drawbacks of the previous one. Then only you can actually master the current, right?
a smart and simple roadmap suggestion on where, when, and how to start learning web development?
So basically for roadmaps, I guess there is a website called roadmaps.sh where you can get roadmaps of any domain you want to start. But for a brief way, you should know a language first to interact with the for making the websites. And as we know, this JavaScript is very common to work with. You should know JavaScript, HTML, CSS, because HTML is the one which actually is rendered as a template. And once you know that, for the full stack development kind of thing, you should know knowledge of internet protocols, and then also the DBMS, the database management, how to manage and all, and then the connection between the back and the front end. So for all those stuff, you should know a stack like MERN or main. But basically, Angular is now obsolete kind of thing. One can go with the MERN, which is the popular one, or else they have their own other languages. Like you can connect the backend stuffs with Django and or Golang stuffs are there. So there are diverse options one can choose, but basic is that you should start with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
And any suggestions on backend? Like,
Yeah, JavaScript will help in the backend stuff.
all right. What's your suggestion on getting a best internship?
Any internship which actually helps you to reskill you or give you an additional skills of working is the best internship, I guess. But like, be aware of these unpaid and underpaid internships. None of us can work or give our time without money and all. So try to go those internships which gives you decent amount of money as per your skill level matchup, and if and try to get a production level where you work with a team, and whatever your internship is actually giving an service to a huge amount of people. So you will know, because the projects which we build are built in a different and simple way, but the way we actually implement in the as a huge mass, it's totally different. So you should know that production level ethics and all to go on.
So basically, by using words like production level and all such things, you're meaning like a person gets to work with a huge workforce and learns to work in a team. So
not only that, it's basically like you see for building any website and all, which will actually give a service to a lot amount of people, we have to manage. There should be load balancing should be there, and then we have to manage the traffics and all. So that is like what production level is. Like we build our or scale our like website to such a way that a lot amount of people can use it. And there is also development phase where we try with our errors and all, and we develop it. That is a different one. So try to work with such kind of people to go on like such internships to know what the difference are there and how to work and all. And team ethics is also you will get.
how much time should one dedicate in learning web development, and like in how much amount of time and how much period of time like one can learn decent amount of web development?
Actually, depending on everyone's pace, one can learn very fast. People have different amount of intensity, like power to grab stuffs. So it's totally up to you how much time you take. But whatever you do, keep on practicing and do in a regular basis to upskill yourself. You should keep a kind of task like whatever. If you have some X amount of skill, you try to have a target and try to set that okay, you'll get Y amount of skill in this time period, and be disciplined on that timeline. So I would say that much on this.
So what's your opinion on people making clone projects of like popular websites like Netflix or Hotstar or even Amazon or anything? Like what's your opinion on people making clone projects? Because these clone projects are like really common. Like everybody makes those projects. So do you think it's a good thing to make common projects like these, or somebody should stick to making like really unique and complex sort of projects? So
To kickstart or to know how this website, like everyone is curious about how to, like how this button click and the click like you in Amazon, you actually like a product and it adds on a cart and all. Everyone is curious about it. So if you're curious and you don't know how to do it, try to go and clone these projects and know how these stuffs work. Because if you clone these projects, you'll know, okay, and in future if you want to build any websites and you want this feature, you can actually know like, okay, this was the process and I can implement in this. So cloning the common projects, like common websites which we regularly use, it's beneficial. You should do it if you are in a beginner stage or in a like stage where you see a like feature which you don't know how to build. You can go and do it. But for the question like putting into a resume, it depends on your like in which stage you are. If you're beginner, just like 9th or 10th in high school or first year in first year, second years, then people or recruiters don't expect to have a very much huge code of projects in your resumes. So you can put those stuffs and they'll actually ask you, okay, whatever you have done, do you know or not? But if you are in a third or fourth year, so you should have a better or unique projects as per yours. And also these cloning projects, you will get your own ideas and inspirations to take. Okay, you will take some feature from X clone and some another features from Y clone and make something unique thing. You can do that. So cloning projects is beneficial, but putting into resume, it depends on which stage you are.
So basically you're saying like make couple of clones and then integrate take one feature of a specific clone and put it into other and try to make it a bit unique.
Yeah.
All right. And this was it Thank you for watching the podcast. And if you watched the podcast till the end, please consider liking the video as well. If you have any doubts and if you want specific topic to be covered in your future podcasts, please let us know in the comments. And thank you for watching. And I hope this podcast added some value to your journey and gave you a sense of direction of where you have to proceed and how you have to continue your web development journey. So thank you for watching the video. Until next time, goodbye.
Perfect.